Hey y'all, what is up? Welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. It depends if you're new here or not. And if you are new here, just think about hitting that subscribe button. It's free and I'd really appreciate it. Alright, so the past two videos I've uploaded on my channel, well, by the time this video comes out, that part 2 will be out. We've been reading a comprehensive list. It's a subreddit, and it's very intriguing because it talks about all these moments that were very easily overlooked. We did cover a majority of them, but there are a lot that I did not talk about in this channel because I simply either didn't catch it or didn't watch the video. And it puts together this very well done list of sketchy moments, more so, in Eugenia's content where she talks about her family or herself. And it's always the creepier moments of when she says something and it's kind of like, why would you say that? And if y'all seen the part 1 and that part 2, y'all understand what the hell I'm getting at. So we're going to be reacting to this one clip, and I did want to originally get done with that list and then react to the clips in the chronological order so we can kind of keep it to a T. But this one really caught my attention, and I was like, before I even finish off the list, I literally ended the list just so I can find this video and react to it. And I feel like we're going to be asking a lot of questions by the time this video is over. So with that being said, let's just dive right into it. Eugenia's talking about allegedly being kidnapped.
Hey guys, it's Eugenia. So today I'm going to be doing a storytime video where I'm going to be telling you guys something pretty crazy that happened to me. So yeah. By the way guys, also I actually got a haircut today. So if my hair looks any different, then that's probably why. Whenever I cut my hair, I don't really cut it very much because I like my hair to be pretty long. But yeah, I got a haircut today, so it's another thing I did. So
she reminds me, not nowadays, but back in this time period of her film, and this was like 7 years ago, y'all. She reminds me so much of Marina Joyce. Do y'all know who that is? She was another very popular yet problematic figure when it came to content creation. There were so many rumors and speculations about Marina. People thought that she was kidnapped. People thought that she was being extorted. People thought that she was using using substances. I don't know how else to say that. You know, there's just so much speculation, quite like the speculation that goes around Eugenia Cooney's content. And one thing that I always found very interesting about Marina Joyce is her hand movements. Her eyes were always popped big, and she would repeat herself a lot. Like, just for instance, she'd be like, oh, hello, welcome back to my video. It is Thursday. I'm currently posting this on Thursday, so welcome to the video. Today is Thursday. Like, she just kept repeating herself to the point where it was like, are you asking for help? Or are you trying to iterate really hard that today's Thursday? Because why? You know. But her resemblance to Marina Joyce's content back then is very uncanny.
basically today though, before I even went to get my hair done, I was actually at the police department because I had to go in there because of what happened pretty much. So as you can see by the title of this video, this sounds like it's a pretty crazy thing that happened. So a week ago, if you guys didn't know, I was actually in Disney World. I know probably some of you guys might think it's really weird that I'm in Disney World so often, but my brother is like really into Disney, so that's why I'm there kind of a lot. But yeah, I was there and then I randomly got this phone call. Because of being on the internet, like there's a lot of really good things that come from the internet, and I really love getting to make videos for you guys. But also online, sometimes some really bad, not so great things can happen. Like I've had some really like weird things like kind of done to me and things that have happened from being online. Like I've had like SWAT teams sent to my house. I've had like weird letters and things like that sent to my house. I've had people kind of be able to like spy on me on my computer, and I've had hackers, which is really not fun. So yeah, just like a lot of stuff. So yeah, so this day I was getting a phone call from a number that I didn't really recognize. Sometimes like another thing that will happen to me is I'll get a lot of like phone calls from unknown numbers, and then when I answer them, it just turns out that like the person won't tell me who they are and they just kind of don't say anything. So that's like another thing that I guess happens from being online sometimes.
It can happen. I'm not excusing it away. I'm not saying there aren't weirdos out there who's creeping on the internet all hours of the day and night, just waiting to get a slip of information from somebody so that they can stalk them or harass them or even get their phone number and leak it, or possibly just use it to harass again. And so yeah, I'm not downplaying that. I know that happens a lot on the internet, but I've also seen so many creators who are huge on the platform and never really had scary instances, you know. And I remember Call Me Chris. This was just recently, this happened this year, where she was like doing a house tour or something, and people ended up finding out her address from just doing a house tour. Like, she didn't film outside or nothing. And she said how scary it was for her because now she doesn't feel safe in her home just because she wanted to do a house tour. And she was like, yeah, so I want to share these things with y'all, but I'm not going to be able to just moving forward for obviously my safety and my family's safety is in the home. I feel like, and I hate to say this, but I feel like Eugenia has quite a weird select few of individuals that she's trusted on the internet, that she's talked to for a really long time. And these individuals are people who's been part of her Discords. They've been on her Twitch, her YouNow. They followed her for years. And maybe that's why she built a trust with some individuals on the internet. Maybe she gave out certain information to these individuals, not realizing the harm that they can cause with it, because she thinks that they're supporters when really they have ulterior motives. Also, I can't help but think to myself, and this is an allegation, so I just want to be very clear about that, I can't help but think to myself, maybe Deb has something to do with this, because we all know Deb wants Eugenia home. She wants Eugenia around. She doesn't want Eugenia to have too much free will. Maybe Deb kind of coerced this vision on Eugenia of, look how scary the world is when you put yourself out there. You should be home. You should be home so you're safe. So maybe Deb, like, had people call her or something, or sent these letters. I don't know. That's totally an allegation, but let's just continue.
Yeah, I answered it, and then it turned out that they told me that they were actually the police. With one of those like weird kind of things that happened a couple of years ago when I actually got swatted. It was like this whole super crazy thing. Like, it was this probably Onion 2 guy, and he started telling me all this crazy stuff and all this stuff he was gonna do to me, and how he was gonna send a SWAT team to my house. But I didn't think he would actually do it, because at the time I really didn't know anything about swatting. I didn't even really know it was a thing or how it worked or anything like that. But it turned out he was kind of telling the truth, at least with that part.
Quick interruption, and then I promise I'll let at least a minute and a half play this video so I don't irritate the hell out of y'all. But I just want to say real quick, why do swatters snitch on themselves? Like, they'll snitch on themselves before they even do the SWAT. I was watching, we reacted to it, a clip of FouseyTube a while ago on the internet where he got swatted, and he was quite literally just sitting there in his car chilling, and it scared the living shit out of him. He's like, what the hell is going on? All of a sudden there's police cars around me. And he ended up going online, and the people who swatted him quite literally made a post and tagged everybody in the group that had partaken in getting him swatted. And I was just thinking to myself, like, illegal repercussion. Like, why would y'all do something illegal and then be like, hey, I did it? You know, it's so dumb.
Also said he was gonna send like drugs to my house and call the drug administration, and he never did that, which is at least good. But yeah, like, he sent a whole SWAT team to my house, and my door here is actually still broken from that day. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Of course, like, when all that was going on, it ended up being some like kid in Canada. Of course, the police kind of had to get involved because they had to like send out the SWAT team, and it was crazy. So I was thinking when I got this phone call from the police, I was a little bit scared, not like too scared, but I was kind of like, why would the police be calling me? Because I'm really a person, I don't try to do anything wrong. I don't try to break the law or to do anything super bad, like killing people or doing bad things.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't want to clip this video down more than I need to. Eugenia, why are we using language that's against 2024 TOS? Like, I know this video was from years ago and the terms of service have changed for the platform, but just for her saying that word, YouTube's probably going to hit my algorithm with a stick. Probably going to beat my algorithm with a stick. So I hope it goes okay.
So I was like, why would the police be calling me? They told me that they wanted me to go into their police department. I was like, yeah, I could do that. I'm actually away in Disney right now, but when I get back, then yeah. They were totally cool with that. They were really nice. And then when I was kind of thinking it over later, I was just thinking like, okay, like, why could the police want me to go into their office? It must maybe be related to Onion. Like, maybe it's because they have like a court case with him and they want me to answer questions. I don't know.
Oh man, that minion in the background is like driving me nuts, and there's no reason for it to. It's just irritating me. I know. But I know I said I wasn't going to interrupt this video. I was going to let it play for a while, but I just want y'all to be totally up to date on what she's saying. Like, I want y'all to understand fully. So if y'all remember that part 2 that we did, or was it in part 1? It was in part 1 or part 2. Y'all have to go back and watch those videos. She talked about being at Disney. Her mom called her and was like, you can't go on the rides. You got to get back to the hotel room right now. It's an emergency. Bad things are happening. And Eugenia's like, it looks normal. Like, Disney looks normal. There's nothing bad going on. How do I get back to the hotel room? And she, like, made it a big deal. She was like, yeah, my mom called me. She said there was an emergency. Bad things were happening. I had to go back to the hotel room. I couldn't ride the monorail ride, and I was upset about that, and I couldn't find my way back to the hotel room, so that was a scary time. And I think this is possibly what was going on during that time when she was at Disney. Maybe her family got that phone call that they wanted to speak to her with the detectives when she landed back in Connecticut or wherever she was going home to at the time. So maybe, okay, this is what happened. Maybe that phone call that she got at Disney is what kind of turned that trip to the Disney trip to hell.
It must be something like that, because I didn't think there would be like a reason that like I would have to go to the police. So it turns out that now, as you can see, like by all my stuff here, I'm back from Disney now. So today was actually the day that I went into the police department. Like, I gave them a phone call back like I said I would, and I went in today. I was literally just expecting it to be about that. We even talked about that a little bit. And then they told me the reason that I was being called in. So it turns out I'm not exactly sure about like why this happened or what was going on or what exactly. So I actually learned this today, and I guess there's this like online cyber tip kind of thing, and it's actually a really good thing because I guess a lot of people tip like for child pornography, which I would of course never do because I think that stuff is really messed up. Guys, oops, I just realized my 2 necklaces are like in my sweater, so taking those out now. And I don't even really know how that works. I don't know if people tip if they like know someone who's doing that, or if like kids reach out and then try to get whoever is like forcing them to do pictures, or I don't know exactly how any of that works. Like, I don't know anything about child pornography. I think it's a really bad thing. So it's a really good thing that that does exist, so things like that can stop. But yeah, I guess people could also tip other stuff too. So I guess somebody like left them a tip saying that I am actually kidnapped. And yeah, it gets like really weird. So I guess what they tipped was that when I was 15, my parents actually kidnapped me, and they've been brainwashing me ever since then. I think until like believing they're my parents. But
2,000 years later.
I literally started filming this right now. Right now it's 10:55 a.m. Okay, but I started initially filming this video at about, it was like 10:15-ish. I have been here for almost 25 minutes stumped on what she just said. So, I want to talk about it because I have a huge theory that I've been brushing around. I had said in that last video, what if it was the other family she don't no longer talk to? She was saying in that video, or in the list that we reacted to in one of her videos, she was saying how she doesn't have contact with other family members. She did have contact with like an aunt and uncle, I think on her mom's side, but shortly, you know, they just lost contact. They were only in contact for a short period of time. And I thought to myself, maybe the aunt and uncle called. Maybe it was family members, you know? But then I said that could be a reach because there's so many weirdos on the internet. Anybody could call and make up some shit. Or maybe it was somebody like us who work up theories, you know, about what could possibly be going on, and they were just ballsy and called the police about it. Y'all can go check out my other video. So the last 2 parts of this. We have been reading that comprehensive list, and I have been breaking off moments that I find interesting, like there's something we gotta unpack with it, and we've been discussing it like we are today in video form. In that last video, right, maybe a video or 2 before this one, that's whenever she talked about that trip to Disney, getting that phone call, how her mom was ecstatic, or not ecstatic, but erratic, saying, oh, you gotta hurry up and come back to the hotel room. Some bad shit's going on. And Eugenia panics, like, I don't even know how to get back to the hotel room. Then there's this video shortly after talking about she has to go talk to the detectives because they think that she's kidnapped. Shortly after this video, though, the one we're reacting to today, she's curling her hair with a wand, okay? And in that video, you can hear the grandmother in the background saying, you're unaliving her. And you can hear Deb yelling, I just want the money. Now, why am I bringing this up? What theory am I going to tie this to? And this is a theory that I had. It's a long-running theory now. People even talked about it and brought it up to Lordy is Shorty. I had this theory on my channel a long time ago, and a lot of people started to really take note to it. I don't think Deb is Eugenia's mom. They could be related, but I just don't think Deb is Eugenia's mom. There's a lot of things that I've seen that make me believe that, but again, this is all an allegation. So what if it is true? And again, this is an allegation. What if Deb did kidnap Eugenia with the dad? And another theory I had was, I think that the dad has a second family in New York, where he works a predominant majority of the time. And I said maybe Eugenia and her mom is the second family. Maybe the dad has his main family in New York, and then Eugenia and Deb and Chip are the second family in Connecticut. So to wrap up this theory, I just want to say, I feel like if you live in a household with multiple people and so many secrets, and people such as Eugenia and Chip who don't understand those secrets and can blurt them out at any given moment, of course you might want to cut off contact with the other family members, so if they would reach out in concern, the kids won't be like, oh yeah, this is going on, but it's totally normal, and then the parents or family be like, no, the hell it's not, that's not normal. And the grandma, towards the end of her times, y'all, she did stay with Deb and Eugenia. What if that was kind of a way of Deb keeping the grandma under wraps to make sure she's not saying things she's not supposed to? And again, that's just a theory, but let me know what y'all think about that. Also with the child, I can't say the word, but y'all understand what she was trying to say. That's a weird thing to just bring up. You know, I feel like if the detectives were trying to talk to her and be like, well, yeah, you know, it's just a thing where people give us anonymous tips about crime that could be circulating the internet, I feel like child would be a really weird thing to bring up out of all the examples they could have used. Maybe something was going on with Eugenia and they found out, you know, maybe they're being paid off to keep a secret. I don't know. Let's get back to the video. That is such a tangent.
Also, they said that I was like held hostage against my will, and yeah, it was all just so crazy to me. I was just like, what? Because I mean, unless I'm like brainwashed and I don't know what's going on, then I was definitely not kidnapped or brainwashed by my parents. Like, it was just like, wow, that is insane. Like, that is probably one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Also, apparently, from what the police was telling me, the person who like left them the message was like legitimately concerned that I was being like held hostage. And if the person really was, then person, thank you very much for caring about me. I really appreciate that if I ever were to be kidnapped or something like that, that you would care enough to try to get me like unkidnapped. But yeah, I'm definitely not kidnapped. I'm definitely not being like held hostage or anything crazy like that. But thank you, person, for caring, if that's what their intentions were.
This whole video is making me feel so bad in my gut. Like, I just feel like, ew, there's so much we're missing, you know? And that's why I like making these types of videos, because we're going to figure it out one day, y'all. We are going to figure out the chaos behind the Cooney chaos doors. And this is like, ooh, it's so ill. You know what I mean? Like, just as a parent, I could not imagine. Oh, let's get back to the video.
Another thing, guys, if you didn't actually notice about me, when I was born, my name was actually not even Eugenia. It was actually Colleen for a couple of days, because I guess my parents didn't really know exactly what they wanted to name me, so they named me Colleen at first, but then in a couple of days I became Eugenia. The person actually like even wrote in. It was really crazy because they wanted me to bring in my birth certificate when I was going to the police station. I was talking to my mom about that too, and then she was kind of like, you probably should also bring your name change forms, because otherwise they might be confused if they are looking at your birth certificate, because your birth certificate still says Colleen, because my birth certificate actually still says Colleen.
So you're telling me this girl right here, who's gonna be 20 soon in this video, are you telling me, hold on, so are you telling me the mom never got Eugenia an updated birth certificate from literally the time she was born? What? Like, okay, so she was born as Colleen Cooney, that's on the birth certificate, then you change the name a couple days later and all you have is the name change forms. Eugenia never got an updated birth certificate. That's just interesting to me. I feel like if I changed my kid's name, I would get the updated birth certificate with his updated name. I don't know. That also just rubs me the wrong way.
So, yeah. Then it was really weird because in like the tip, it was like a whole paragraph that they wrote to the police. They said that my name was really Colleen Schwartz, and yeah, it was just really weird to me because my name was originally Colleen. I have no idea where they came up with the whole Schwartz thing. I don't think I was ever Colleen Schwartz.
Colleen Schwartz sounds like it would be somebody. It could be a made-up name, granted, because her name was Colleen. Maybe they just needed a second name to throw in with it and to give her a last name. But wow, just thinking about it, that's so interesting that somebody knew, or possibly knew her last name was Colleen Schwartz, you know? But with that said as well, usually, okay, when people say, okay, I've never been bitten by a shark, but say somebody came up to me and had this wild theory or talked to my family and was like, she got bit by a shark when she was in this, that, and the third, and it was back in this year and this, that, and the third, I would have been like, I've never got bit by a shark, because I know. I would have known, you know? But her saying, I don't think, is equivalent to her saying, I don't know. And again, to see how she's never been normal, I would say. But to see how much more normal she was and behaved back then, it could show that she's obviously in a home or something where there's turmoil. So she could have easily gotten worse over the years if, you know, she's not getting the proper support. And it could be, and I've always said, maybe Deb doesn't feel that motherly to her because maybe it's not her kid and she doesn't know how to parent her, you know? And that's another theory I have. But again, this whole video has been theories and speculations and a shit ton of allegations from my end. So please take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, and please form your own opinion.
Like, I definitely was not ever Colleen Schwartz. I do have a middle name that begins with an S, but it's definitely not Schwartz. It was kind of crazy because then the police actually asked me if I was into bondage, and I was just kind of like, no, I don't make videos of bondage or anything. And then they also asked me if my mom was into bondage, and as far as I know, I don't think my mom is, so I was just like, she's not doing that. Then they were like, yeah, we know this is like a really awkward question to be asking you about that. But then they said, like, I guess this person who sent this in was writing something about a mukbang. Like, I guess they were saying like, oh, like, Eugenia won't do a mukbang, or I don't exactly know how that happened, but they mentioned a mukbang. I guess the police doesn't really know what a mukbang is, so they thought it might have been some like fetish thing. Because I don't know what the person mentioned it was a fetish thing. Like, I don't know really. I know what a mukbang is, guys, and I know some people do for whatever reason really want me to do those, but I don't really do videos like that.
Wow. Okay. Those are really concerning questions from law enforcement. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I feel like there's a lot for us to discuss in the comment sections down below. Again, these are all just my opinions. I'm just going off of what Eugenia says and the things that I know and think I know, and we're just gonna go from there with that. You know, it's just all speculation. I'm just talking shit, giving opinions. But I need to know y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, because when I first started doing commentary on her, I always said, shit's a lot darker than we think. And especially in her earlier content, we've seen a lot of it and heard a lot of it. What do y'all think? This whole situation is absolutely bizarre, this whole video. How? I'm glad it's still up on the internet, but like, they never caught that, you know? I don't know. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up because I have a double upload today. I am doing this the same day that the part 2 to that comprehensive list is going to be coming out. So with that being said, I'm going to put them all in the description box down below, and I'm going to be putting them in a playlist so y'all can, you know, check it out in order. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all there.